So today we're going to look at how we would go about using tables in our web pages. We're using tables because the tables gives a really nice way to structure our content in rows and columns. So first of all, I'm going to create a div that's just got a subjects that I study in computing. Because I want that to be slightly larger, I'm going to change it to H1. And there it goes. Then I'm going to add a little subheading. So this is going to be a slightly smaller text. So this again is going to be H2. And I'll go back and correct that spelling mistake. Okay, so to use a table, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to have an outer tag called table. And that just tells the browser we're creating a new table. Then we have a tag that says tr, and this is going to be the table row. And then within each row, we want to have a td. So a td is like a table cell within the row within the table. So here you can have the first table is module 1. Now I'm going to have a second cell within my table of networking or networks. And if we press run, we can see, well, this just gives us what looks like a straightforward row. But I'm going to turn the border on for the table so we can see what the table's producing. There, and we can see that module 1 and networks now sit inside its own little table. The next thing I'm going to do is add another row to the table. So that's another tr, opening tag and closing tag. Now I'm going to have some cells, that's td for module 2. And another TD for cybersecurity. And so now you can see we've got two rows. The first row has module 1 and networks, and the second row has module 2 and cybersecurity. Now I'm just going to create a third row. So another TR, and then one TD tag for module 3. And then another TD tag for 3D modeling with SketchUp. So one of the interesting things about tables is that they can adjust their width depending on the content. So you can see now that we've got 3D modeling with SketchUp was much longer, and so now the whole table has become much wider. So the next thing we're going to do is add another column. So I'm going to add another column which shows how much I enjoy each subject. I'm going to use the asterisk to show. So 1 star is I don't like it very much, 2 stars is I like it a little bit more, and 3 stars is I like it very much. So you can see that just by adding a TD within the row, so within the TR, I'm now able to add another cell at the bottom of, sorry, on the right hand side of the table. There you go. And you can see that my stars are all nicely lined up, my subjects are nicely lined up, and my modules are nicely lined up. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to make the table as 80% of the width of the page. That just spaces everything out quite nicely. And now I'm going to add some headers to the table. So I'm going to add a row at the very top of the table. And we're going to use something called row span, which, and what row span does is it says, for this table cell, it's not just going to go across one row, it's going to go across 3 rows here. And then the next thing we're going to do is to have a col span. So this is, don't just put this cell into one column, span across 3 columns. So here you can see that the modules I've studied is now spanning across 3 columns. My 2019 is spanning across 3 rows, but it needed to be spanned across 4 rows so that I can say that in 2019, these are the modules I've studied. And everything is very nicely laid out.